I'm here, and I'm only a little late this time, so like by 6 minutes, which is a lot late. But I'm gonna blame it on Lee because it's kind of his fault, and I'll tell you why. He's got all these gizmos and gadgets, and I don't know how to use them. So, um, I don't, I don't know. I, I don't know what that is. Hello, Corey. We're the only ones here, but I'm kind of complaining about Lee's problem. It's not water bottles. It's these electric. I don't know anything about it, so I was late because I had to figure out Lee's strategy when it comes to all the electric things around here. I don't know. I have a hard time. I can't use them. Kelly, hi. I'm so sad we missed you. Hello from Canada. Hello, Summer. How are you? So I was just complaining here about Lee's. You know, I I'm gonna bitch a little bit. I'm gonna bitch. We have. I'm gonna exaggerate too, but I'm gonna bitch. There's too many remote controls for one TV in this house. So when I need to go we don't turn our TV on much, but when I go to turn it on, I have to use three remotes, and I don't like it, and I don't understand why that is. Back in the day, we just had one. Just pushed a button and the TV came on. Pushed the up down button and it turned the channels up and down. Another up down button turned the TVs up and down. So now I it took me forever just to figure this mess out. I don't know what this is. I don't it it's just hanging. It's hanging off my computer. That's what it is. We were supposed to have a session today. Well, you know what? That's Lee's fault too, because he could have told me. He could have, but he didn't. Um, I no longer control the schedule. Lee does because I forget, and clearly now Lee does. Um, I apologize for that, and I'll get it fixed, and I'll get in touch with you later, and we're gonna figure it out. You and me, without the middleman. That's what we're gonna do. Hi, Michelle. You just missed me bitching about Lee. I did. I took it to a whole new level. There's too much of this. I don't know what it is. It's just a mess. He was going to email back. Yeah, that's a problem. Yay, notifications work this time. Hi, Kiki. Okay, so he never emailed back. That sounds about right. Hi, Allie. So I will tell you this, guys. We're tired. We've been going. We've been burning the candle at both ends for a long time, and when I decided to live my life, I wasn't joking. I mean, we've been busy, been out in different states. We was in a different city last night. We was in the same state but different city. Rode up to Columbus for a Tropodelic show. Can't miss a Tropodelic show. Mm. I do kind of want to, before the questions start jumping in, I kind of want to talk a little bit about mind noise and where it leads us. And then we can, um, yeah, I will let you know about our session today. Um, Tonight. I'm going to answer emails tonight because apparently he's not doing it. He's great, though. He's great. We love him. We love him a lot. He gets overwhelmed too. And probably even more so now that I'm on different schedules than him. I don't know why. It just is. Um, yes, I will. However, I keep forgetting your name. No, I didn't. I remember. I think I. No, I didn't. I'm going to get it. Um, do you still experience twin telepathy all the time? All the time. Even if he's just upstairs and I'm down here. All the time. Like we probably communicate more telepathically than we do because we're in passing a lot, but we're in the same house. It's interesting. It's interesting. But I want, yeah, everybody's having moments like this. How for sure. Um, it's an epidemic. It's a pandemic. Um, yeah, I want to talk a little bit about mind noise and where it leads us, and you know we take it to a whole different like realm, right? So we don't get a message back in a quick enough time, whatever that be, whether it be an hour, 2 hours, 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. And our minds want to take off and create these huge stories, right? A lot of those stories tell us that we're not good enough, that we don't deserve this, that um, there will be an ending to this, that it's going to hurt, that it's going to be painful, all this is going to suck. Um, mind noise in the present's going to be this can't be real. This is going to crash hard. So many different things. And we tend to sort of back away to avoid the pain. And it creates a whole different ball game, right? Because now we're looking at the person we have built up in our minds versus the person that they really are, right? And it kind of sucks for them and it really sucks for us because we're stuck with not knowing who that person really is because our minds telling us one thing but we're feeling another, and it's a really confusing place. And I'm running across that a lot, doing a lot of personal sessions. I'm running across that a whole lot where it's just a lot of mind noise, and for some reason we're listening to it, and I'd like to bring it into awareness so that once it's in the light it can be seen, and we can openly talk about it because um, it's hiding under a cave and it in the darkness, and we live by it, and it's sad. And if we would all just stop listening to what goes on in there and start listening to what goes on in here a little bit more, then the world would be a much better place. um, it's just seemingly a place where everybody seems to be sort of stuck in right now. It kind of seems a place that everybody seems to be swirling in the moment, right? Um, yeah, everybody. Oh, I'm about to poke myself in the eye. Yeah, everybody, it's a hot mess. Um, the mind chatter instead of our own knowing. Oh yeah, I'm bouncing back and forth. It's a big deal. Um, I can be talking to Lee like in the grocery store. Like this is a good example of what I'm talking about. Can be standing with Lee in the grocery store. We can be having a conversation over cucumbers, whatever, right? And I'll be talking to him, and then I'll turn around and he's gone. Like, where did you go in the middle of me talking about the cucumbers, right? Um, and I look and he's over looking at the bananas. My head could go in 12 different directions. My soul tells me, my heart, my intuition tells me he didn't hear me, right? He didn't hear me. He walked away from the conversation because he thought it was over, and he didn't hear me. Um, um, continue the conversation. So my head wants to say he didn't think that what you were talking about was of value. He didn't think you are of value at all because he walked away. Um, what's so pretty about the bananas that the cucumbers don't have, right? Um, was I not saying it? Was I not explaining to him what I was trying to explain to him? Making sense? Was I blubbering? I mean, and this could go on for hours. This could go on through the rest of the grocery store trip, where now we're in the chip aisle, right? And we're discussing we probably shouldn't get chips, but we want chips, right? But we know that they're bad for us, but they taste so good. What do you think, Lee? Do you feel like we should splurge and get the chips, or should we really not get the chips and maybe get some veggie chips or something? Lee? Lee? Now we have, he's walked away from us the cucumbers, and he's walked away from us the chips, right? Let me tell you, by the end of the grocery store trip, you've beat yourself to death and you don't want anything. I don't want nothing. You haven't paid attention to me through the whole trip. You've walked away from me every time I've tried to talk to you. Every time I tried to say something to you, you've walked away. And that can turn even uglier. Trip home, blah, 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 blah. Get home. Where are the groceries? Oh, we left them. We left them at the store because he wasn't paying any attention to me. Oh, it's so toxic, and it's so natural, and it's so natural to wanna hear what your mind is saying, because isn't that where your wisdom is stored in your brain? I think not. I think all of our wisdom is stored right in our souls, and education is stored up here, right? Um, healing is stored down here. I see questions. I have to put on my glasses. Um, hey, Mara. Um, hello, Robin. It's Raven, isn't it? Raven. Allie. I don't know about you guys, but it's all nonsense in my brain. It's all nonsense. It's all nonsense. Like it's complete nonsense. And it can cause some serious turmoil, right? Um, I have no patience when it comes to like other people in stores. I tend to push my cart a little too fast. Get out of the way. I'm trying to do what I'm trying to do. I'm working on. Um, but I used to want to. What did I say? I was a horrible person in the grocery store. I'll admit it. Move it or lose it. Move it or lose it. We're here to shop, not talk. We're here to shop, not talk. Um, get your groceries and go. Get your groceries and go. Move out of the main aisle. Move out of the main aisle. Main aisle's not for socializing. We're not here to socialize. And now, of course, my mind wants me to say all these things, but my soul wants me to just be patient, know that there is something on the way home, that this little deterrent, this little yield, um, this little deterrent uh, is keeping me from a car wreck, hitting a dog, um, up fender bender, um, so many different things, right? That the universe puts into play all the time, right? But we want to try to override, and we do, and we do. I could have plowed through those people and gotten the gotten the line and got out the way I wanted to, and got out there and somebody just run a light and hit my car, right? Instead of listening to the universe's instructions, we really want to make our own. And if you've watched our videos, you'll know that I tried to do that quite a few times. And there was one in particular year where I tried to take matters into my own hands, and I just completely set us back probably 4 years, 3 or 4 years, just trying to make it happen, just trying to do it how I wanted to do it in the time and in the fashion that I wanted to do it in. So um, there's going to have to be some type of shift in the way that we listen to what our minds are saying, right? And just know that it's bullshit. That's what it is. That's what it is. Um, Hi, Anne. Yeah, having to take a lot of deep breaths before I pop off. Yeah, trying to rush to the end is only delaying the beginning. Does that make sense? I hope. Yeah, I hope it did. I spent the night with Twin Flame this weekend. I actually did very well, staying out of my head and remaining present. Was a fun time filled with laughs. I let him buy me breakfast. I have a hard time receiving. Oh, well, I'm glad that you allowed that to happen. That's amazing. And that you're spending time with the person that you're supposed to be spending time with. I'm glad. Um, I like, I love seeing, I love seeing twins come together. After all the mess that they've been through, seeing them overcome and come together is big for us. We see it. As a matter of fact, um, I have a client personally that I've been helping through some sexual abuse issues, and she starts opening up to me. We start talking fourth weekend. Yeah, fourth week in. Um, we start talking about twin, and she hasn't heard from him in 3 years. We start talking about twin, and right before we're about to hang up, guess who texts? It's the energy we're bringing in. It's pretty powerful, and I love it. It's awesome. Um, well, that is how I am at the grocery store as well. My son, who goes with me, live to go to a different aisle and then start screaming for me. How did you get yourself to forgive when Lee was doing his thing? I'm not sure how to write now when I feel like he's cheating. Um, there's a little bit of a difference there. Like, I didn't think I at that point in there's so many points, there's so many different times that it's hard to sometimes. But in the beginning, like, I didn't consider it cheating because we weren't together. But then when we started talking pretty regularly, right? And he was telling me how much he wanted to be with me and how much we were going to be together and all this mess. But then I would feel him that night with someone else. And it was the lies that were getting to me. Like, he would tell me that there was a one time that he told me that his ex-wife was coming over. His son had a basketball game in another city, and they were going to go together. So she decided to stay over there. Of course, they slept together. I felt it. But of course, he said, no, she's sleeping on the couch, all this mess. And I didn't believe any of it. And, come to find out, yes, they did sleep together. And it was painful for me. And it would happen again with somebody else. And it would happen again with somebody else. And it just got to the point where I just gave up on the possibility of us being together in a romantic relationship. I just gave up. I didn't want to be with anybody like that. I didn't want to be with someone who I had to look over my shoulder all the time. I just didn't want to be that. And I told him that. I'm never going to be with you like that. I'm not going to look over my shoulder, have to wonder what you're doing all the time on your phone, or why you're 4 hours late, or why you never showed up in the first place, or all these things, right? Um, because honestly, um, any times that we were in a committed thing, I guess we're gonna call it, there was never any infidelity. However, then there was a time that we went into separation. We both started seeing other people. I didn't put my life on hold when it came to Lee, um, because I knew better. I didn't put my life on hold for him to go into healing and to get better or to do better. And I certainly didn't want him to do it for me. He needed to do it for him. I didn't want to be a part of that. I mean, I did want to be a part of his healing, but I didn't want to be a part of his healing, right? Um, that was his healing, and it's not something that I needed to be a part of. I had to forgive myself for not. Um, I had to forgive myself for sometimes believing the things that he was telling me, and then only to be or to have the confirmation the next day that my intuition was correct. I would get mad at me, right, for continuing to have conversations, and I would put boundaries on conversations. Like, you know what? We're not discussing the fact that we're ever going to be in a relationship. I don't want to be in a relationship with you. I'm not going to be in a relationship with you. And it was painful, but one of the most painful things was finding out that he was seeing someone else. There was a point in time when uh, we hadn't been broken up very long, and he went back to this ex multiple times, and it started to become a little bit of a jealous point, I guess I should say, or a tough subject, right? Um, and finally, in conversation, going, okay, I've got to I've got to work on some things in me. So I want to know what's going on here, what the real deal is. And after he explained to me that, the real deal was she was a puppet, and he could cheat, and he could do whatever he was going to. He didn't have to get his act together, right? He wasn't connected to her, so it was easy. And I think that's what hurt me the most. But uh it was hard. I'm not even going to lie and say it wasn't hard, but it was when I knew that he was lying, when I knew that he was sleeping with other people. I just didn't stop. I didn't stop my life for him, and I didn't stop. And I dated. I did date too because I knew that he was dating, and I did date too. I actively dated, and I actively got some great friendships out of those things. Out of the dating. Sometimes you just meet people that you're connected to that you're not romantically connected to in any way, shape, or form. But I gained a lot of friends um, through dating. You know, two or three of them are on my Facebook, married with kids and having a great life, and so am I. And it's just maybe one date or two, and it was like, yeah, no, we're pretty cool buddies, but nothing there. Um, don't not putting yourself on hold. That's big. That's big in me. I don't want to lose too much. Um, this journey for 3.5 years, lots of push and pull in the beginning, but we both finally are chill and doing neither. Well, that's amazing. Yeah, I'm glad. That's awesome. That's awesome because it's such a journey, and it's so rocky. Lee and I were on a golf cart at a campground. It wasn't a campground, it was a festival ground. So it was pretty hilly and rocky, and back in the woods where there's like streets and streets and streets of different campsites where people are popping up tents and hanging up tapestries and just being free and being themselves. And we was on a golf cart, and our golf cart driver, who happens to be a friend of ours, was just driving the golf cart, not paying attention to any holes or leaves, or not leaves, but branches and rocks and things in the pathway. And we were just being beat to death. And I told Lee when we got off of the golf cart, I said, that felt like a real familiar journey. Like, I feel like I've been beat to death. Like, we could probably get married now. Um, yeah, no, it's a pretty rough journey. I'm glad you guys are doing amazing. That's awesome. That is good news. It's good to hear. Um, the lion that gets you. I get it. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm going to tell you this, and this is an ancient secret, twin flame secret. That's not true. It's a Lee Sherry secret. Um, I stopped nagging, or I stopped saying things like, "Well, I know you were, so deny it all you want to." I wouldn't say things like that. The next morning, when he would call or message, I would say, "Well, good morning. Hope you had a good night. I felt all that. Thank you." Or, "Ouch. What you did last night really hurt me." "What I do? What are you talking about?" I said, "I don't want to talk about it anymore." Um, or, "I hope the lie that you told was worth it." Things like that. Sometimes I triggered him, sometimes I wouldn't. But when I would catch him, he would still go into denial. It's a thing. It's a thing. But then once he knew that I knew, he couldn't deny it. And he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry." Once I realized that my twin flame and I were always connected no matter what, it took the pressure off. And I stopped fretting if we would be together. Raven, that's profound, because once the once that connection's made. Have you seen Avatar? I love this analogy. It's one of my favorites. In Avatar, I hope you've all seen Avatar. If you haven't, anyway, when they get on that big bird and they stick is it their tail or hair or whatever, and they stick these things together and they connect with the flying dragon, whatever it is. Once that connection's made, they're bonded for life. That's their ride for life, right? Um, it very much feels like that connection when it finally makes when the cord finally goes into the plug. And I'm not talking. This is not sexual. There's my mom. Because my mom's one of those moms who will call 30 times until I answer. So we've shut it off. Um, so yeah, where is it? Um, let's see. Yeah, once that connection's made, like, it's there, right? And once that connection's made, I know for me it was a done deal. Like, there was never going to be anybody else ever, right? Which wasn't true, right? Because um we did go into separation after that, and Lee started seeing someone else, and I was really, really, really hurt. It was the same ex, and um, it made me want to stop and be mad and be angry. But I had hurt him. I'd hurt him really bad. So, I knew that I had, and I admitted that I had, and but there was a time when I had to snap up and snap out of it and say, you know what, I'm not going to put my life on hold. I'm not going to put my life on hold because um, the energy's so strong. And if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And here we are. I mean, we're not, that part of our life is over now. Like, the separation, coming back together, separation, coming back together. We've graduated, we've evolved past that, right? So it's interesting looking at it in the rear view. Like, man, that really sucked. It was really painful. I kind of want to run upstairs and pop him in the head. I won't. But every now and then I'll flick him, not really hard. You know what I mean? Every now and then I'll like flick him and he'll be like, "What was that for?" I'm just, and 2004. And he'll be like, "I didn't even know you in 2004." I know you did something, right? Because he was already, because I know he was doing something. And it's funny because every now and then something will pop in my head that I'll like feel some kind of way about, like, yeah, I must be, still flicking. What was that for? You know what? I just got a little pain from when I, I don't know, opened the pop bottle wrong or whatever. You know what I mean? Or, when I caught you on the phone. Remember that time I caught you on the phone? And I would never physically hurt him. Come on now, I wouldn't. But that don't hurt. But but he'll look at me and like, what? What? Just needed to get it out. It's fine now. All right. Just needed to get it out. And I've caught him doing it to me sometimes. Like every now and then he'll be like, what was that for? Man, that really hurt. You know what I mean? And it's interesting now that that part of our life seems to be evolving and moving out of the way to bring in other things. But um it was free. We were free and are still free to be able to, hey, by the way, I don't know why I thought of this, but I just wanted you to know that if I treated you a little bit rude just now, it's because I'm harboring a little bit of this and I want to fix it. Or I just want to say it so I don't have to say it again. Right? That really hurt. Usually he'll just hug me or pull me close or dance with me or flick me back. I love you so much. Um, Looking in the rear view, it's been quite an interesting journey. It really has. Man, I'm talking a lot this week. Um, oh no. Oh no, I'm losing track. Oh no. Oh no. Hang on. Thank you, Marla. Thank you, Marla. Uh, just stepped back and completely disengaged. Yeah, yeah. And I did that too sometimes. I'm not going to lie and say I did. Hi, Sherry. I've had tons of migraines lately, like they are the worst ones I've ever had. I read that it might be my twin trying to communicate. Um, you know what? It very well could be. Are you hearing ringing at all? If you hear a ringing sometimes, that's my indication that Lee or spirits trying to say something audible to me. So I'm just curious if you're hearing any ringing. But yeah, it did cause me headaches, physical headaches. It really did, especially when I didn't want to hear from him, right? Especially when I was with someone else, trying to forge a different type of relationship, trying to forge a relationship although I was connected to somebody else. And that is possible. You can be connected and still have healthy relationships with other people. But yeah, it was a lot of headaches actually, now that I'm looking back on it in the beginning. And I wasn't a headache person, that's how I know. I've never been a headache person. Um I actually gone through probably 30, 35 years of my life without having a major headache. Um when I was younger in my 20s and had a hangover, I had a pretty good headache, but I knew what that was for. But when I met Lee, the headaches started getting a little bit stronger when we were trying to figure things out and I was trying to hear him like I hear spirit. Yeah, actually, made me think of that. That's odd. Um, let's see. I love how Sherry keeps Lee in his place. I don't hurt him. You know what I mean? Um, my twin always looks scared when I'm around him and we make eye contact. It's like he knows I can read him like a book. You know what's interesting is here's what I don't do, and I'm glad that I don't. Right? Because it can be so minute and so little. Right? Lee can recall a memory or something that he did, and spirit will tell me that that's not completely accurate or that's not the way it actually happened, right? But I had to stop and think, feel like, this is how he's remembering it, right? So it may not have been how it happened, but it's definitely how he remembers it. So I had to kind of step back a little bit and not say every time that I know that it's not the whole story or the whole truth. It may not be because he's lying. It could be because it's how he remembers it, and it's not because I've noticed the older I get too, the way that I remember things might not necessarily be how they actually were. And though if he says something that's kind of blatant, and it puts me in a headspace, right? Or my head's going, wait a minute, what? Like 2 hours ago you said you went to, this is how petty it could be. Where did you go? And Lee hardly ever leaves without me, and I hardly ever leave without him. This is a complete analogy. Where did you go? Oh, I went to the car wash, the dog park, the grocery store, and the department store. Okay, cool. And then 3 days later, I hear I went to the dog park, the department store, and then I stopped by the car wash. But yesterday you went to the car wash first, and then this and this and this. What actually happened? Where did you go? Right? And then by the end of the whole day, there's 12 girls in his two-seater car, and he stopped at the car wash to pick him up, and then took him over to the department store. And you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just right. I don't normally call him out on something that's so petty and so minute when there really was no intent of lying there. Um, and I'll notice if just, did you grab ketchup? Nope, they were out. I'll know you didn't even look. And I'll say to him, you didn't even look for ketchup. Nope, I forgot. Then, right? So why even say that they were out? So he knows better kind of now. But he still tests. Don't we all? Don't we all? Right? We all got to test the system. We all got to see if we can skirt the system, right? I just happen to be the system. That's so wrong. I'm really not. But um, now we have no reason to lie to each other. So I mean, we just don't even tell fibs. But it's just another evolution, right? I don't feel the need to like say little fibs to him to um, for any reason whatsoever. I used to a lot. Um, my health is good. Thank you for asking. It's okay. I mean, I'm following what kind of following what they're telling me to do. Like I'm kind of out there living my life, burning candles at both ends. And today I'm super tired. I do take a Manjaro shot on Monday, so it kind of zaps me a little bit. And on Tuesdays, my energy's normally usually zapped, but I've been trying to energetically overcome that. It kind of messes with my gut a little bit, but um, here lately, because of our Wednesday night class, I've really been trying to clear and get some clarity and trying not to be so lethargic when it comes to throughout the week. But um I had that surgery May the 12th. They had to open up my whole transplant scar again. I had to reheal from that, which Mom, I'll call you right back. I'm right in the middle of something. 15 minutes. Okay, well, I'm right in the middle of a live online. I'm in the middle of a class. Yeah. Okay. If I wouldn't have done that, she would have called 15 more times. 50. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. If I wouldn't have answered, she would have called me 15 more times before the end of this show. And for sure, I promise. That was rude, but I had to do it. So anyway, I have to cath now. For some reason my bladder is wanting to be wonky, so we're going to go find out what that's about. And by the way, he did freeze this thing can barely see it now. There's a good view of it. It's kind of like a little scar now. So we'll see how that goes. Just froze it off there. Um, I've been laying up, but I'm from Cincinnati. Oh, I find it so comforting knowing you're up there in Ohio too. This journey. Oh, boy. What suburb did you live in? Or where did you live in Cincy? Curious, because there's so many places. I'm from up in the Dayton area, so actually Middletown, so we don't tell everybody about that. Finally let go of control. Ah, man, that's the thing. I feel like I'm not putting. Okay, haha. Oh no, where did it go? Where did it go? Um. Oh no, I lost it. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, I feel like I'm not putting my life on hold, but it seems like I might have been because I'm still giving him minutes and he's not moving forward, it seems. Yeah, you got to stop that. You already saw that, right? Just maybe you should do that. If nothing, write it with a Sharpie. You know what I mean? It just says my minutes. They're mine. Claim your minutes back. Claim them back. They're yours. Um, Yep, finally I'm shifting. I'm not wanting for him to change, and it's extremely painful because of the betrayal. And I feel his energy, the dreams. I've cut my hair, Pat. Oh, look, I'm curious. Um, Majikaza, is that your name? Um, yeah, how that's what those pains are. But I'm curious, Majikaza, are you guys in a serious committed relationship? Have you discussed this? Not sleeping with other people, not being with other people? Are you guys supposed to be together? That's what I'm curious for, because you keep using the word cheating, and I'm curious about that. Um, I realize you have to be in the right place in the journey, and I'm healing to move beyond. Yeah, you got to. It's a it's you've got to be there, and I was so there, and then Lee wasn't, and then Lee was so there, and then I wasn't. So yeah, you're right about that timing. You're right about that timing. I cut mine because I later found out he got his hair cut, so that explains why both times. Yeah. When did you finally? I got to tell you about our doctor's appointment today. When did you finally realize it was okay to trust Lee again after he was done with his healing? It wasn't a realization. It was a feeling. It was a knowing. Like it was a knowing. There's a knowing there, an absolute knowing without doubt or without question. There was an knowing that just was instilled in me, and it is such a trust. No, it has nothing to do with trust. It's a knowing. It's an all knowing. It's just a knowing. It's just a knowing that I'll never have to worry about that ever. Never, ever, ever again. Never, ever, ever again will I have to worry about him cheating, calling another woman, texting another woman, um, in any way, shape, or form inappropriate. Never, 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 never. It's just it's a knowing that I have inside of me, a knowing that I hope everybody experiences. I really want everybody to experience this knowing. It's powerful. It's so powerful. Um, I so today Lee and I found ourselves we have the same doctor, and we see him at the same time. I'm not making that up. We have the same family doctor, and when we make our appointments, he sees us at the same time. Lee's had something going on with his shoulder for a long period of time, about 3 months, and I've pulled a muscle in my forearm of some kind. I don't know. And it's funny because we went to the doctor's office today, and our normal doctor called us on Friday. We had a appointment on Friday, and he called us and said, "Look, I'm sick." He was coughing. I can't see Sherry because Sherry, I'm immunocompromised. So, um, can we reschedule till Monday? And sure. So then the phone rang this Monday. Today he wasn't there. He was still sick, but they wanted to know if we would see another one of the doctors that works closely with him, and of course we would. So we went in there, First of all, we always act up in there. Then we get in there. We had to explain to this doctor that Lee had a shoulder injury and I had an arm injury, and it was at the same time, but we don't know what happened. And we promised it wasn't something fishy that was going on in the bedroom, right? Because our days of jumping up and down and doing somersaults and twisting all around, and tossing and turning, hanging from the ceiling are over. Intimacy is not over. Sex isn't over. Just the acrobats of it is over. Okay. So we're not going in there with broken limbs because we were jumping off beds. We needed to make that clear. However, like, he was lining things up on our chart going, you guys do everything together? Like, we got diabetes together, like months apart. You know what I mean? There's so much. He gets a colonoscopy. I get a colonoscopy. It's a mess. So he was laughing with us, but it was a cute doctor's visit. I thought it was hilarious. We like messing with other doctors. It's so fun. Um, I'm grateful I am there. Yeah, I don't want to. Oh, I have so much to do before I get into anything. Right? Isn't it interesting how once we let go of an obsession or a mind trap, that we realize how much we still need to do. And it could be physically, it could be mentally, it could be emotionally, it could be so much work, you know what I mean? That you realize, yeah, not even I was ready for that. It's interesting, isn't it? I love it. What do we have here? I did my own thing and he eventually worked out his stuff. At the same time, I realized I had stuff to figure out that I hadn't seen before. It's been a 14-year journey. Well, congratulations. Let me tell you, Raven, congratulations. It's freeing. It's freeing and it's bliss. Hi, Kelsey. Hi, Sherry. My twin has gotten into two bad accidents. And this second time, when he woke up, all those ego traits just came back online again. The ego death really is a process, even after two wake up calls. Um, oh, you do get ringing in chronic. Yeah, ringing. Ringing's a big indicator that it's him. Um, I want to address that because, oh, man, he had an ego as big as Kansas. And if you know anything about the states, that's a big state. And you know, I don't think it was, and I'm not even gonna lie and say I didn't. There was a couple times when I found myself like in an egoic state, like that's not me at all. Um, you know, but he's a good looking man. He had a lot of women chasing after him. And his ego was being stroked. Ooh, that was bad wording. But yeah, it's the ego is a big thing. Go to our channel, the channel you're on here. Go to the videos and find Lego My Ego. Watch that. That'll be fun. Um, I've been stepping back as well. Completely have surrendered. Ugh, there goes Gemma. I get the ringing. Oh, the whole eye popping thing. Isn't that fun? That's fun. That's real too. That's real too. Um, and food, I've randomly tasted food. I haven't eaten in 20 years. I think my twin is eating what I've randomly tasted. And that's very, very, very possible. I definitely started getting ringing in my ears only after I met with, for sure. That's that telepathic communication trying to come through. That memory thing happens with my twin flame too. He remembered things differently, and I used to point it out, causing fights, and now I don't because I really, yeah, um, yeah, like, let me find this. Yeah, I found that I did that too. It was super triggering for him. when he would be in the middle of a sentence trying to explain something that he remembered in his childhood, and I'm going, that ain't true. That never happened. Didn't happen like that. And then I thought, my God, if somebody said something to me you know when I was recalling a memory, I would be really upset. And it did. It caused a lot of fights because I'd be like, "You're lying." I'm not lying. Um, yeah. So really understanding, I have a lot of spiritual gifts, and understanding those are super important to not abusing them and not throwing them out to people who, you know, wouldn't necessarily see them as value. And there's a whole plethora of people in my family that wouldn't even begin to know that I had spiritual gifts. Um, it's just something that you can't share with everybody, right? Um, and I learned to abuse them as a teenager, right? So, when we're at parties and drinking, and when we're teenagers and smoking all the pot in the world and acting like we're just above anything, and we're 10 feet tall and bulletproof, um, I'd bring out, spirit, and, who's standing behind you, and Greg's, who's Greg, and Greg's my brother and he just died last week. And then it would become a party favor. And then spirit was like, you know what? So when you're drinking, or when you're mind altering like that, we're not gonna, you know what I mean, come forward. And spirit just kind of was like, whoa, this isn't how this is supposed to be, or the capsule that we're supposed to be using, the vessel that we're supposed to be using. And then when I had my dark night of the soul and my reawakening, I realized what I was doing, and I took it in another direction. And I'm real kind of, I'm not anymore quiet with it. I don't really care, but um, I was very careful who I would share my gifts with, right? Because I wanted to honor spirit and not be like, you're lying. How rude is that? I did that. That's my twin. Horrible. Um, oh, thank you for hitting the like button. That's awesome. Um, yeah, it's pretty cool. Um, oh, here we go. Okay, it breaks my heart. Just my twin won't even communicate with me, but I understand his natal chart since I've tried making sense of the connection and seen the proof in our chats and the nodes and all that. I know he is scared and doesn't know how to process his emotions from his moon sign, and he's got to be just as confused as me. The fact that you have that compassion, you're you're clearly empathic. You're clearly empathic, so you probably already know that. I don't understand why there's a decision between treating me well and being with someone else. That doesn't seem like a decision he's pondering, Teresa. Um, why would he have to make that decision? I don't, here. I want you to listen to this and listen to this. Please understand what I'm saying. If you find yourself in a situation where someone is trying to make a decision between you and somebody else or a plethora of other people, that's your decision. That's something you're doing. And how you can fix that is to remove yourself from the equation. Because if there's a choice between you and somebody else, you're not being chosen anyway, right? And you shouldn't have to win somebody's affection and somebody's love and somebody's attraction to you, right? Um, if you ever find yourself in a decision, remove yourself from that equation. I promise you it will benefit you. Remove yourself from the equation, because if you're not being chosen first and foremost in the beginning, where's your love for yourself? Where's your love for yourself? Got to fix that. I know we both need to go on, continue working ourselves. Yes, my twin has a karmic debt, which is his ego and his celebrity legend. Has been famous since he was 17, a rapper. Got it. 41, we both just had a birthday. Oh, happy birthday. Why does it seem every twin flame dynamic? It does seem like that, but I'm going to tell you, I equally hurt Lee as much as he hurt me. Equally. Sometimes I think maybe I did a little bit more, but that's my head, right? It was equal. We hurt each other equally. I'm not going to lie and say that I didn't do really messed up things. I did. And if you watch our journey from front to our journey, it's on our playlist. You'll see. You'll see. You'll see. It was bad. Um, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm going to end this by at least reiterating that a little bit. There's so much that I want to say about that. The universe isn't going to bring you somebody else's. They're not going to bring you somebody who's meant for somebody else. They're not. The universe isn't going to bring you somebody who's with someone else. That's your decision. If you're being on the side and while your twin, soulmate, karmic, whatever, significant other, right, is married or in another relationship and won't get out of it because we're staying in it for kids, there's financial reasons, blah, 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 it's bullshit, get with me, and I'm going to help you out of it, okay? Because it's bullshit. I don't care how connected you are. If you're being treated like a side chick, you're going to act like a side chick, right? If you're in a situation where there's a decision to be made, why are you in the equation, right? There's someone out there who will choose you, only you, and no one else because you're worthy of that. And that's what you are destined to be with, someone who loves you and loves you unconditionally, right? We as women, and I know there are men in here, but we as women have to step back and regain our self-worth. We're allowing so much to happen to us. We're allowing so much to be done to us. And we've got to step back up and gain our power and realize that we're worth so much more than we're given. And we need to start taking a look back at where we're at and what we're doing with our lives. And are we standing? Are we just being there? Right? Are we stagnant in our relationships? Why? Why isn't there movement? Why isn't there movement after 5 or 6 years? Why isn't there movement after 2 or 3 years? Why is it stagnant after 3 or 4 months? Why is it he wants to spend time with me, but he also wants to spend time with Susan, Kim, and Teresa? I don't mean y'all. I'm just making up names. Maybe I'll do a class on that. I think maybe I will. Let's do that. I'll do that. Let's do that. I got a Tuesday night free. I'll do a class on let's do a class on feminine energy and what we're allowing. If you're interested in that class, let's do 3 classes. Let's do 3, a series of 3 or a series of 5. Let's do 5. Let's do 5. I'll let Spirit get with me on the rest of the details, but if you're interested in that, let's do that. I'll throw the details out there, but if you went in on that, then give me an email. Lee's doing root camp specials. We are also doing what we're calling the explosion special. That was my word. I made it up. The explosion special is 8 sessions with Lee and Sherry. 3 with Sherry by herself. That's me talking to me in third person, talking about me in the third person. 3 sessions with me, a 4th session with Lee and I together. And then 3 more sessions, that's 3, with me. Guess who? You know why? Because I told her 15 minutes. She waited 14 minutes and 59 seconds, and she called me back. Um, yeah, so let's do a feminine energy class. I'm ready. We'll do it. Um, let's do a 5 series class, and I'll put it out there. So if you're interested, get back with me. Um, um, yeah, I think that would be. Let's take some power back. Um, yeah, let's do that. I think we can, as women, come together with some serious feminine energy, and we need to. I really feel like there's 2 or 3 of you, or even more, that are kind of stuck in this place with no movement, and we got to get you out of it. Why isn't there any movement? We need movement. We need movement. Um, so the explosion special is me 3 sessions, me and Lee the 4th session, me by myself again for 3 sessions, and then Lee is in the final session, which makes 8. So you do get all of my feminine energy and 2 sessions with the masculine energy as well. So that's 8 sessions. If you're interested in that, get back a hold of me. I'm still doing personal medium readings and card readings. So if you are interested in a personal medium reading and or card reading, then get to me. Send us an email and just let me know that you're interested in a card reading. I'm finishing up one tomorrow, and then I'll have Tuesday nights free for that class. Because I think if she keeps going, we're going to move to another night. But I'm doing sexual abuse root camps. So we're getting to the nitty gritty of the sexual abuse and all of the hidden and underlying issues that come with it, and how it's really affecting your connection with your twin, right? And what it's blocking, and how to release, and how to move forward, and how to let go, and how to go into healing on the sexual abuse, right? It's super important. Yeah, you do need to get the mood off your boots. Oh, you know what? I just asked Lee about you the other day. I really did. I even described you, and you know what word I used? You tell me. You tell me right now what word I used when I described you. Bet you can't guess it. But you can't guess it. Spot on. Spot on. Spot on. Spot on. That little tiny thing with the real beautiful girl, the little tiny thing. Spot on. I love it. Okay. All right. I love you guys. Hey, let's get you moving. That's what's important. Let's get you moving. Let's get things happening in your connection. You haven't heard from him for 5 years, or haven't heard from her for 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, 5 months, 5 weeks, 5 days. You get a hold of me, and we are going to get you some movement. It's important. Get you some movement. We're going to get you some movement. I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we do. We got big things to do. So, you want to change the world? We can. We can do it together. We love you guys. Thank you for watching. I'm wondering if my twin is going to come down, and I was wondering if he was going to come down and bother us. But you know what? I'm going to call my mom back, because if I don't, we all know what's going to happen. Yeah. Love you guys. Thanks for watching.